Hey all, it's Winston. Good morning. We're at the shop. I have a limited amount of time here and I got to get my butt over to the job. But this is, so we got that plane iron yesterday. We got that guy looking really good and cutting really well. I mean, looking is only half of it. It's got to work. It's got to function. But I let this, little plane soak in DW Magic for overnight, just because. So let's see where we're at with all of this. WD-40, you can't go wrong. You just can't. You can't go wrong. Yeah, I think that's going to be really good. It is. So now I just need to get some rags and just clean it up a little bit. You get that penetration with the WD. It's a light oil. Those are the only 3 parts that we need. And we'll stash this away for a surprise for myself to clean up later on. I'll forget about it, and then I'll be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And what the heck? Who did that? Oh yeah, it was me. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy being me. Okay, let's see. What are we gonna use? Oh, I know where those towels are. Those towels are out in the van. Yeah, we gotta come through. Come out and get them. Welcome to the monster van. It's actually a nice day. And it's Friday. And it's Memorial Day weekend. So we got that going for us, don't we? Don't we? Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna set you guys up. I gotta make sure, because the otter case and this holder don't really jive too well. Sometimes the camera goes flying out. Oh, and just like that, it did. Okay, get back in there, you. Get back in there, you. Okay. Well, you know, let's face it, Big Pixel, I need help. And maybe I need the help that you can't give me. That's always possible. My wife's a psychologist and she says that all the time. And not that she would want to give that, get involved with that. She's in deep enough already. But I'm in a good mood this morning. I really am. It's been a happy week. It really has. Let's see if I can get, man, my camera skills are just so bad. There we go. Maybe, yeah, that's better. That's better. Okay, so yeah. I'll use brake fluid sometimes too if something's really gnarly. Although I don't like using brake fluid because it smells atrocious. And any of you grease monkeys out there that have a better way, I am all ears, because I am a Facebook marketplace junkie and I love good deals on tools. So like greasy, oily, scummy, petroleum-based products that have residues and stuff on them, I am all ears on how you guys clean stuff up, because I'm really getting tired of using brake fluid. And you know, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this guy. I mean, I'm just getting the dirt off, wiping him down. You know, I've got a brass brush here. Brass brushes are good. Right in here, I'm gonna brush out the gunk in the threads. Take that out all the way. Oh dear, it's gonna come out. It was so locked up yesterday, it didn't come out. Oh, that's deadly. Yeah, once in a while, I've listened to so much fucking Billy Ray. Once in a while, I just drop into that, that accent. He's made everybody a little Canadian, eh? Which I don't mind. It's been positive and very good. All right, so now we've got this whole thing all together, which is really cool. And we're gonna go get one of the special straight edges and just check the sole of this. And we're gonna get, you know what, I think the thing about this that's so cool, I hated to interrupt myself. It's pretty bad when you interrupt yourself. My wife's always like, let me finish, let me finish. And I know, I do. I'm like, we've been married for a long time and it's like, I interrupt you all the time. I'm sorry, but that's how I roll. I get so excited, I'm afraid I'm gonna forget what I'm gonna say, so I have to get it out. But that looks pretty decent. I mean, you know, you don't want to make this thing look brand new. You really don't. You don't want to make it look brand new. Because that's not what it's about. You want to keep the vibe, but you want it, when it gets on that workpiece, you want it to perform. And these old buggers, they are, yeah. This thing will be around long after my niece and nephew are gone, if somebody treats it right. But the thing, oh yeah, I forgot about when I interrupted myself. The thing that's making this the best about it is the fact that this is for someone. It really is. You know, I love doing this, but you know, when somebody, I know the person that this is going to, and you know who you are. The person that this is going to, he's going to take care of it and he's going to make good things with it because this guy's an artist. He is. He is an artist. And anyway, Tree Fella, hi. Nick Pixel, how's it going? And bucket. Thanks for all the support, you guys. I really, really appreciate it. It's, you know, it's made a difference. It really has. Okay, so I think, you know, like I said, if he wants it to be a smashing beauty, he can get out the toothbrushes and the alcohol and the Q-tips and the stuff that, you know, you can go crazy. I sure don't know what my neighbor's up to. We have a row of 5 shops here. There's an electrician, another remodeler type guy who does bathrooms. He specializes in bathrooms. We have a plumber, and then there's a guy that ran a towing service, but he hasn't paid his rent in like 2 years. And all we know is I had to, my landlord had me drill out the locks and put new lock sets on. And we walked in there and there was like a brand new STS Cadillac in there and a super duper pooper scooper Mustang GT. And so he changed the locks and still haven't heard from the guy. So who knows what's going on with that? Like Sergeant Schultz, I know nothing. I just changed the locks because I take care of my landlord. He's a super cool guy. And he puts up with me, which is a formidable task. Okay, so we got the cap here. Yeah. See that there? That there? there's some gunk on that. And a lot of times if you get a new plane, the people at the factory, that needs to be super duper flat. And I think I'm gonna get out the steel, the 3/4 inch steel, and just lap that with some 220. Because where most planes fail, and I'll go through bench planes later, but where most planes fail is the amount of, so the blade sits in here like this, and that goes on top of it and puts pressure on it. Actually, the blade sits, yeah, it does sit in there like that. But this has to sit flat, dead flat. And the pressure on this has to be, can you get it? You can get that in there? Yeah. The pressure on that has to be even, and it has to sit flat. Otherwise, as the curls come up, they'll go up in between the plane iron and this guy. And that you don't want. So, anywho, yeah. That's what that's about. So we're gonna grab our 220 again, put it down flat on this guy, and just do a small tweak. And it's important, there we go. But it's important not to just sand willy-nilly. It's like you have to grind and sand. See how that, I mean, that steel isn't precision flat. But if you see how I'm putting that on a flat surface and I'm sanding that, see how that has an arc to it? That means we're low here and we're high on the sides. So you just have to play with it. And I've barely got new metal right there. But I'm not gonna go too terrible much. I just want, and we're not trying to make this a sharp point. We're just trying to make this flat so that it sits on the plane iron dead flat. And so I'll press in the middle of it. Maybe just a touch more. And I'm rotating my sandpaper. And there we have it. And that is functional. And it's gonna work. Oh, let's see. So we're looking pretty good. Not bad, not bad, not bad. You know, not bad. Okay. Not too bad. All right, so we're ready. We're ready to go back together. Give me this guy. I'll put him back in. Yeah, Charlie, pipe down your what are you doing? Actually, these guys are just a little bit, oh, that goes in like that. Yeah. Okay, that's the right way. There we are. Now we got it. All right, Mr. Screw. Here we go. Oh, we need to clean this up a little bit. But I mean, look at that casting. I mean, this used to be commonplace back then. I mean, I think that's probably zinc plated. I mean, maybe not zinc. What would that be? I can't remember. I lost the train of thought. But that's plated. And I mean, somebody took the time to freaking just make something pretty. Little style. but I'm a nerd, so I appreciate stuff like that. Because there's nothing really that nostalgic about power tools. You know, I think I want to do a video on recip saws, definitely, because everybody's all sold lock, stock, and barrel and cordless, and there's some tools that are excellent and perform well. Look at that shaft. That shaft is in pretty good shape. But look how those that shaft is stepped, and they threaded it. And I think the thread pitches, I can't tell because my sight is not so good. Yeah, the thread pitches are different. This thread pitch is different than this thread pitch. So and this is pretty much, this is done in a machine shop by hand. This isn't done by a CNC machine with these things. I mean, this was when you had master craftsmen making tools for craftsmen, not the company craftsmen. So we're gonna put this guy back together. We're trying. We're trying. Come on. Come on, baby. Well, what the heck and schmeck and schmecks? Well, it sure helps if you put it on front ways. It does. Oh, well, I wish I could. You guys could see. Oh, I see what I'm doing here. So I'm just refeeding after I cleaned up because there was a lot of gunk in there. Oh, come on, you. Really? Okay, well, then I think, oh, okay, let's try. It's a good thing I bought two. Okay, I think we're in good shape. Okay, we are ready. Well, wait a minute here. No, we're not. We're not lovely. So I'm gonna have to do this. And then I'm gonna have to do this. Okay, then I'm gonna have to maybe do. Okay, here we go. Now we got it. Now we got it. I think we do. Yeah? Did we get it? Did we get it? Did we get it? This is pretty hard. Let me see if I can get this in the thing. I'm actually really glad. Let's see if we can get this up higher. There we go. Okay. Yeah, like I said, it's a good thing I bought two. Because I need to get this threaded so that it goes all the way up. She's not doing. me see what's happening here. I gotta be able to get this guy off. Can I get you off? Oh dear. Yeah, I can get you off. So we need to set this. It depends on where you start these threads, because this has to come all the way back to here, which she's not doing it for some reason. Maybe. Oh, people. Don't they realize we have an important YouTube video going on here? Keep your yapper shut. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding. But I tell you one thing, it's better than our neighbor, our resident. Well, I'll keep quiet about that. My wife says I'm too judgmental. So I will try not. Judge not. Yes, judge not. Even though sometimes it's hard. Because people are. They must be super nice on Vancouver Island. But here in the States, oh dear Lord, there's a lot of nice people in the States. There's also a lot of Lulus. We'll just leave it at that. Yes, we will. Okay, so this guy goes like this. I might have had this in backwards. Well, we know I didn't have it in right. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. If you're putting something together, I think that's about as far as it goes. But listen to your spidey sense when you're putting stuff together. And if you're taking it apart and you're not sure and you think you might get confused, take pictures every step. But if something's not right, it's generally not right. And don't force things. It's so easy to cross thread. I mean, and there's plenty of actually really good stuff on YouTube. Where am I stopping here? What's going on out there? Oh Lord, what is it? It's a freaking circus out there. Anyway, let's give it a shot. Here she is. Okay. Well, gotta get them right. See these notches? They fit on that notch. Our grooves fit on that notch. And that's what pulls the blade back and forth. And you can, whatever blade or notch you set, okay, let me get this right. Whatever groove you set on the notch helps you adjust the blade depending on the type of wood that you're planing. Because this is, you know, oh dear, look at that. Okay, so you need to go back. Okay, I need to stop talking and paying attention to what I'm doing. Oh, that's lovely. That's right where it needs to be. Oh, I don't want to scratch my diamonds. Okay. So I've got this adjusted to where I'm basically zeroed. And zero on these guys is just a touch past the opening. So now we're putting the cap iron back on. And what you want to do, oh, that's not good. Oh, I see. Okay, so we're going to snug that screw down. I think that sounds like my landlord. Okay, so you got to figure out which direction this lever pushes down on the plane iron. And see that? That's kind of how that, can you see that? It's a little crooked because I can't hold it. Oh, there, maybe. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Okay, so there you go. So then you find out which direction, and put it back up, this lever pushes down. And I'm using an old Woody flat bladed screwdriver because it's appropriate. Okay, so I just kind of push down, and as you push down, simulating the pressure of the screw, when I push that way, this rises, meaning the pressure goes up. When you pull it off, that allows you to, it lets the pressure off, and you can take the cap iron off. So now we're going to tighten this screw ever so slightly. Nope, that's too tight. So we're going to let off, and it's the combination of the pressure or the height of this screw and this lever. You want this lever to go all the way, and you don't want, actually I think we got it really good. So then we'll see, yep, the blade will come forward as we turn the knob. Oh, that is Mike, that's my landlord. So if you need to make adjustments, then you kind of hold it down and you move. I think we might need to tighten just like a micro blah. It's a highly technical term, micro blah. Okay. So that looks like a pretty good adjustment. And I think, oh, except I'm crooked. I'm setting the blade pretty much square to the frog. And we're not moving. So I think we are ready to go over to the vise and give it a shot. Now, sometimes you can adjust this screw and still have this lever over and not have any adjustment play. So you're gonna have to play with these two guys. This pressure is constant. This is what adjusts whether this goes all the way over. You don't want any movement, but it's nice to be able to move your blade a little bit. Just, you know, that's just the way I do it. So anyway, let's go over to the vise and see what we got. I'm kind of excited because hand tools are awesome. But you can see kind of how much effort they take when they're really gone, you know? But anyway, but actually, you know, that's not a lot of effort. If you add up all the minutes, you know, when you have the right stuff, boom, you got something cool for a little time and $7. What do you want? Egg in your beer? That's gross. Whoops. Okay. Now we're getting into see, there we go. I don't think the otter case, the job site otter case, and this holder are working together. And I think Best Buy sold me a bill of goods. Oh dear Lord. Yeah, well, we're just gonna have to use the coffee can because that's what's working the best. Okay, so now I'm gonna straighten this guy up. And we're gonna lock him down. And we're just gonna see where we're at. I mean, that was a guess. The depth of the blade is a guess. But when you get it rolling, you can back it off to where you have nothing. And then just slowly increase it, because grain direction has a big factor in planing wood. If you plane against the grain, you're gonna get tear out. Even when you're using a electric planer, you know, a power feeding planer, or an electric hand planer. So anyway, let's do this. Let's rock this thing. Okay, so still kind of at 0, but it's making some fuzz. Let's see, can you see that fuzz in there, maybe? I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna give this just a touch of a turn. And I mean, now that all that's cleaned up in there, these threads are machined so well in there, it's effortless. Okay, we're gonna clear the decks because that was from yesterday. Okay, it's grabbing just a little. Look at that. Can you see that? Can you see that? Okay, so now I'm gonna just like give it a tick. And the web of my thumb and forefinger is resting right there. And I've got downward pressure on the sole. And see now what we're coming up with? We're coming up with these nice little translucent thin shavings. Oh, she's cutting. Look at that. Now this is what you want to see when you have a plane. You want to see peekaboo. I mean, I love that. I mean, I can see through it. And you should feel the surface. That is a sanding-free surface, and that's actually, in my opinion, that's a better surface than sanding. You know, a lot of guys use cabinet scrapers because they like them better than sanding. There you go. Look at that. That's a great sound. Mission accomplished. Back from the turn of the century. So, that's just what I do. But I mean, this surface is awesome. Now, it's not square. Prefer to make a shooting board, but that's another video and another topic. But the thing about a block plane is, like if this comes through a saw, and even just running this corner is super sharp. So if you want to round it over a little bit, you've got such a sharp little, you know, you got what, 2 strokes, 3 strokes, and you got a little rounded over corner. That's nice and ergonomic. And it may sound like nothing's happening, but something's happening. See those little tiny guys? See those little tiny dudes? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, you know, we were talking in one of the videos about accuracy and precision, and I was looking at that video last night, you know, going through, you know, like, you know, how less dorky can I be, and how much less can I ramble, and, you know, I think we'll probably do a part 2 to that, accuracy versus precision, because machinists deal with precision, carpenters deal with accuracy. And, you know, and you can get wood within thousandths of an inch, but even wood that's dried to 6–7%, which is furniture, what us furniture guys like and us woodworkers like. We like it dry like that. But, you know, wood's not stable. Wood is still expanding and contracting with humidity, barometric pressure. So, you know, if you got something within 20 thousandths of an inch, chances are the next day you come back to the shop and put the micrometer on it, you know, you've lost a little bit. So, you know, you've got to get realistic about stuff. And that's not to say that there aren't guys who do work way above me. Am I capable of that work? You bet your butt I'm capable of that work. And maybe someday, when I'm 75 and unable to get out in the field, because I love getting out in the field too. My back will have to be in bad shape before I don't put my tool belt on. I love having my tool belt on and being out and putting things on a gnat's patootie. A lot of satisfaction, and a lot of people don't realize that, especially you young guys that are texting on the job site. I mean, if you have your phone out for not a good reason on my job site, you're off the job site. There's just no two ways about it. But now what we have, I wish you could feel that. You have an edge that is pleasing. It's ergonomic. It's not going to cut anybody. And that's DIYers. That's your biggest mistake when you make like a door jamb or something. These edges, when you make the jam, if you make jams or whatever, or if you're making like you're doing a 1x4 flat trim, whatever, and you're running stock, round your darn edges over. Somebody's gonna glance at and bust their knuckle off if you don't. Sand your edges. Make yourself one of these. It's a block and it has a belt on it. Have 80 grit and 120. And knock your edges down. That's what the pros do. And it'll just make a better project. And I mean, the minute I come up and see somebody's work and I see sharp edges, I'm like, no, you don't have it. Because it's about care. It's about caring about what you do. You know, you're making something for somebody, especially if you're making a set of steps. You have safety concerns. You don't want somebody coming down the stairs on a railing that you cut and hitting a sharp edge and busting their knuckle open, or, no. So, topic for another time. Bottom line, Gregory, you are rocking. Sock 'em robots. Adios. Hey, and if you like it, hit like. I'd appreciate it.